It's Monday, December 21st, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. And this is a public hearing for special use permit 1-2020. I want to share with all of you, since we're via Zoom, that all council members are present. Mark Fry, Doug Hainham, Katie Capolini, Patrick Richardson, Brian McCann, Lindsay Stowe, and myself, Mary Westfall. Also, Mayor Stowe is with us, the law director is with us, council is with us, and many other city administration. Since we are not together in the room, you can't see who's present from the city, and I just wanted to be sure that I was clear that we have a full council participation and administration participation today. This public hearing is really specifically in place for community input for the special use permit for this 1-2020 for the Midwest Shooting Center with the requested location of 7600 West Sylvania Avenue in Sylvania, Ohio. And as such, we are here to hear from the public. The special use permit has been through the full process, which means that it was referred by council to the Sylvania Municipal Planning Commission. It was reviewed by the Planning Commission at their regularly scheduled meeting on November 10th, 2020, and the proposal received unanimous support from the Planning Commission for recommendation to council to approve the special use permit. As is standard practice, all neighboring households and businesses did receive notice of this session, and it was posted in local media and on the city website. Just a few quick housekeeping details, and after that, I will share the specifics of the process for the meeting tonight. First of all, this is the very first time we've done a public hearing via Zoom, so we are all finding our way forward with the process. What I will share with you is that we know there's a lot of interest in this, and for everyone to be aware, we've received immense input both for and against this special use permit. So we know there's many strong opinions, and we are always glad to hear from all of you. We thank you all for your participation and for joining us today. I want you to know that all participants will be muted so that we can minimize the background noise, such as dogs barking. If you would like to be recognized, please be sure to put a message in the chat area that will let me know that you want to speak. I would recognize you by unmuting you so that you can share your comments. If you do not plan to speak tonight, and if you are on Zoom, we would encourage you to watch the session via YouTube. You can find that on the city website or go to youtube.com/City of Sylvania. That might eliminate some of the stress on the system. So if you'd like to do that, that's certainly an option. Let me quickly go through the process for the evening so that you'll understand exactly how we will be moving forward. We will begin by inviting the petitioner, Mr. David Sabo, to share some detail about the proposed project. He will keep his comments brief, about 3 to 5 minutes. Following that, we will open for public comment. First, we will be inviting those that are in favor of the project to speak, and then we will be inviting the people who are against the project to speak. We are asking that the residents from the city of Sylvania and Township speak first, both for and against, and then if time allows, we'll open up to people from outside of this community. Again, as a reminder, if you would like to speak, please put your comment in the chat expressing interest. Please indicate if you would like to speak for or against the issue. When you begin your comments, please begin with your name and address so that we can put it on the public record. Each speaker will be asked to keep their comments to a maximum of 2 minutes. Again, we know that 2 minutes flies by fast, but we want to be respectful of everyone. We will be timing you and giving notice if you're going over that 2-minute window. If someone else has made comments that are similar or the same as the comments you have intended to make, we ask that you please refrain from commenting in the interest of time. In other words, if we've got 25 people that want to say the same things, We don't need to hear from all 25. If your viewpoint has been expressed clearly, please know that we have heard it and we are taking it into full consideration. Please know that council members are here to listen. That is our goal tonight. We want to hear your input. We're not here to make any decisions. Generally, council members will refrain from comment until the end of the meeting. And again, if there's anything pertinent that comes up that needs additional input, that doesn't mean that a council member cannot speak up, but generally our goal is to listen to all of you and get your input. So with that, I'm going to turn the initial portion of this meeting over to David Sabo for a few brief remarks about the actual SUP 1-2020.
Everyone, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Mary, appreciate it. So my name is Jeff Swinford. With me today is my fellow operating partner, David Sabo, and I also have Brad McClure here with me. I just want to start by briefly introducing our management team and then touching briefly on our brand here. Let's get our PowerPoint queued up. Okay, so David has been my partner in business for almost a decade. He is a fellow former officer in the United States Marine Corps. Brad is a former Army soldier and a multi-tour combat veteran. And the final operating partner is Dr. Sam Patel. Dr. Patel is an orthopedic surgeon and CEO for the Institute of Orthopedic Surgery of Ohio. Here we go. So we opened our first location in Lima, Ohio in March of 2019. Midwest Shooting Center is a state-of-the-art indoor shooting facility designed to have a broad commercial appeal and intended to serve the entire spectrum of shooting enthusiasts. We're a certified 5-star brand from the National Shooting Sports Foundation, and we spare no expense in maintaining a safe, clean, family-friendly environment. We're an institution of high-quality employment, top-tier customer service, and a beacon of safe and responsible firearm ownership. And just waiting for our slides to catch up here. It's rolling a little slow. Here we go. So our Sylvania facility will boast a 10,000 square foot retail area with a highly trained and personable staff. Every transaction will be performed to the exact letter of the law and under the direct scrutiny of the ATF. Every transaction requires an FBI background check and customer verification to qualify our patrons. You cannot be a customer at Midwest Shooting Center if you possess a criminal background. So we anticipate employing about 30 individuals to help staff our Sylvania location and forecast an annual payroll spend of approximately $1.1 million. This includes internal layers of leadership, range safety officers, firearm trainers, and a dedicated compliance manager. So our facility is forecast to generate approximately $9 million in annual taxable revenue. And we anticipate drawing from a 50-mile radius surrounding that facility. For reference, our Lima facility does routinely draw from both the Toledo and Dayton markets. Now, in addition to retail product for sale, our customers can rent firearms under the direct supervision of our range safety professionals. Customers can take training classes or become a member of the facility for additional member benefits. The primary purpose of our business is to promote safe and responsible firearm ownership and to provide high-quality training and education. About 10% of Ohio residents do possess a concealed carry permit, and a huge number of Ohio residents have at least one firearm in their household. We're also seeing a significant trend in the increase of new firearm ownership. 2020 set a record with 5 million first-time firearm buyers. So we see a direct need to increase both the quality and accessibility of training and education. We are equipped to host local events at our Lima facility. We typically host 4 to 6 events weekly. This includes community events, corporate outings, and also private parties. Now, the ballistic live fire area within our building is a complete internal concrete shell. It is a self-contained unit within the building that separates the shooting activity from the rest of the building and the outside environment. It's constructed using concrete block within which is poured concrete. There is an internal infrastructure made of bulletproof steel, and on top of that is a rubber membrane that is made from densely compressed rubber and is designed to encapsulate the entirety of every projectile that's fired. This kind of technology is only seen in the most modern ranges available within the industry, and has been in use for many years with top-tier military, law enforcement, commercial, and even private residential ranges, and has a very proven safety record. Regarding noise, the construction of this self-contained unit, the internal shooting module, is made using specialized noise abatement materials. This includes rubber acoustic durapaneling and also Sonix foam insulation that actually makes the self-contained unit, that is the shooting bays, completely airtight, and it seals the noise of the shooting activities from the rest of the building and the outside environment. We actually have to maintain the integrity of that airtight environment within the shooting model for a specialized HVAC system, which is designed to exchange 100% of the air within the shooting bays every 60 seconds. This ensures a lead-free, clean air environment for our patrons. So this is an image of a range operator operating in a traditional shopping center flanked on either side by conventional retailers. In this case, a Staples and a Dollar Tree. This range used the exact same construction techniques and range equipment that we would be using in Sylvania. And this is a common system for range operators that are operating in densely populated commercial environments where noise and safety are paramount. This is another example of a range using those same techniques and range technology, again operating, this time directly adjacent to a Hertz rental car. And this is our Fort Wayne facility. So this facility is identical in size to the proposed Sylvania site. Both are just over 30,000 square feet. We did have to approach the Fort Wayne City Council and request a change in zoning status for this location as well. We were approved last week and we'll be beginning construction in January. This facility is located directly across the street from Macy's and the Glenbrook Mall in downtown Fort Wayne. And our neighbors at this location directly adjacent is a DSW Shoes and a Men's Warehouse. Regarding safety, in addition to the specialized HVAC system and the range equipment, this facility will be fully staffed with range safety professionals and a dedicated compliance manager. The compliance manager's sole responsibility is to ensure the integrity of our processes and procedures. This includes the retail firearm transactions, the range safety, and to ensure the clean air environment for our patrons. They serve as a direct liaison between our business and the ATF, OSHA, and the EPA. So regarding the zoning request, currently our site in Sylvania is zoned appropriately for the retail function of our business. However, we are requesting a special use variance to allow for the range function of our business, which includes the training aspect. This is an aerial view of the center. Everyone knows where we're located, and a floor plan layout. And finally, as a final note, we want to thank everyone for your participation this evening. We pledge to be an organization that this community will be proud to call your own. We'll be a destination for someone wanting to learn more about what it means to be a safe and responsible firearm owner, a place to get the training required to be a safe and responsible firearm owner, or a great place to spend the day with friends and family. We thank you for your consideration, and we look forward to joining the Sylvania community.
Thank you for your presentation. Very much appreciated. So with that, we are prepared now to open for public comment. And we have some people. Our first focus will be on people who would like to speak in favor of Mr. O'Laughlin. If you would like to speak, you are on.
All right. I am Dennis O'Laughlin. I live at 4827 Sheringham Lane in Sylvania, Ohio. I've done a lot of research on this company to see how they've impacted the communities for where they have their current shops. And I see this as a very positive opportunity for our community, not only to have an area that will draw people in to see our community, but also generate much needed tax revenue for our community. I see the systems that they use in other gun ranges that I frequent, and I know that they're safe. I know that they're compliant. They're 100% in line with what the ATF and everybody is expecting them to be. I don't see this as being an issue for our community. I see it as an opportunity for a place for me to take my family, to help my children understand what gun safety is, to learn and grow and not be afraid of having firearms in the house. My wife and I currently just finished our CCW classes, and we are awaiting our licenses to show up in the mail. And we see this as a great opportunity to meet up with friends and family members and have an afternoon together in our town instead of having to go somewhere else.
Thank you very much, Mr. O'Laughlin. Next, we have Mr. Lawrence Johnson, who will be joining us. Mr. Johnson, there you go.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Dr. Larry Johnson. I'm a psychologist. I've practiced in the Toledo area since 1984. I am a gun owner, and I've owned guns since my early. I see it as a process of training. I think much of the problems that are in the media today about accidents with guns is due to a lack of training, lack of discipline around guns. And the more training centers there are, the more we are able to train people in the proper use of guns. For those people who have not been at a shooting range, the ranges are very disciplined. They are very safe. And I see it as an increase in training process. I really believe that training is one of the primary variables in decreasing gun violence. If you're raised with a respect for the weapon and a discipline around the weapon, it decreases violence. That's essentially what I think. Also, with the increase in the CCW licensing, there is a need for more training. There's a need for more organized training. And if anybody has received training in firearms or handguns, you know it's an extremely disciplined process.
Thank you very much for your comments, Dr. Johnson. Next, we have Lauren Borer, who would like to speak in favor of this.
Hi, my name is Lauren Borer. I live at 5265 Brent Crossing, below Sylvania, Ohio 43560. I am in favor of this project. I will probably never frequent this establishment because I don't own a gun. But having now I'm raising 3 kids. When my 11-year-old started to go on play dates, and one of the moms told me, well, do you ask if they have guns in the house? It was a question I started to ask. And I will tell you, after 2 people said yes, I decided that it was going to be on my own. I would have to teach my child what to do if Johnny wanted to show him or show off one of his parents' firearms. And I believe having this facility nearby, teaching education and training, is going to help with any issues in the future, and also allow me as a parent to help educate my children moving forward.
Thank you, Lauren.
I'm Evan Erickson. I live in the township. I've lived here over 30 years. And as far as this business goes, it's a legal business. It's operating in other locations apparently without problems that I can find. And it generates not only tax income for the city, but it also generates income and wages for the 30 people that are being employed. It's not an outdoor range, and I don't feel that there's any danger as far as bullets flying everywhere or getting out of the facility. It seems to be extremely well secured, and the type of resident that would pay the money and take these lessons is not the type of gangbanger that's shooting up the neighborhoods here or in Chicago. So I'm for training, and the more people understand about guns, the better off we all will be.
Thank you for your comments. Would you mind, Evan, sharing your address just for the record?
2705 Sequoia Road.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have Dan Fortunato. And give me one moment here. I'm not seeing him come up. I'm so sorry, I cannot see him coming up, so I'm going to move on. Okay, I'm sorry, I found him. Give me enough time, I can get anything done. Mr. Fortunato, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh,
Thank
excellent. You. Excellent. Thank you very much. My name's Dan Fortunato. I live at 3512 South Point Road. That's in Sylvania Township. And I want to speak in favor of this facility coming into our community. First of all, I'm in total agreement with all the comments already made relative to the business opportunity and the safety. I think one thing that's extremely important for the city council to consider is that this is not about a gun control issue or whether people favor personal use of guns or not. This is about a business, a legitimate, safe, and growing business that wants to come to our community. It's already been pointed out about the huge increases that we've been experiencing of more and more people participating in the shooting sports, in particular people in Ohio getting concealed carry permits. I think this business would be an excellent opportunity for our community, for people to go to be trained and to learn how to use the firearm safely. Again, this is not a gun control issue. That's a whole separate discuss. The issue that needs to be focused on is whether we want a good, safe, thriving, new business coming into town, taking over a vacant space that's obviously been hard to rent out so far. And I think this is an excellent opportunity that we in Sylvania should take advantage of. If we don't, there's no doubt this business will go somewhere else and they'll bring their money, their employees, and their tax dollars with it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Bob T. Mr. T, can we? Yes, I can.
I'd like to speak in favor of this for the issue of safety. I put my handguns away for many years because I recently took them out of storage. Things have changed. Guns have changed. And I had to find a place to educate me and teach me. And I feel that education is a big factor here, that people learn the proper way, exercising safety and caution. And we are fortunate that we have a company that's willing to come in and invest millions in our area. And I think this is something we should back, and I wish them well. Thank you.
Please share with us your name and your address, though.
My name is Bob Trapp. I live at 7101 Crabtree Lane in the city.
Thank you very much. That, I believe, represents all of the in favor of comments. So now we will be moving to the people who would like to speak against the project. And we're beginning with those in the order that they arrived in our chat box. So Nancy Larson will begin.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Okay.
Name and address.
I live at 4015 Newcastle Drive, Sylvania, and it's Nancy Larson.
Thank you.
I'm speaking up not in favor of this business being brought to this particular place in Sylvania. The business may be legal. That does not necessarily mean it's desirable. And we are here because it required a zoning change. It's zoned as it has been for a reason. And the reason that they are asking for an exception is the reason why the exception should not be granted. This is not a business that I want in the middle of my residential Sylvania, close to schools, the public library. Everybody's talking about safety, safety, safety. Guns in our community are not something that I want to foster. A shooting range belongs outside of a residential situation, if you want my opinion, and not inside. So I do not believe that there's any reason to make a zoning variance for this business. It should not be approved. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I'm not sure who this is. Cam Mowat, perhaps. I'm asking, I'm inviting this individual to speak and share name and address, please.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
So I'm a resident. My name is Cameron Mowat. I'm a resident at 7558 Wind River Drive, Sylvania, Ohio, 43560. And I'm speaking against this. And I'm speaking against this as somebody who's grown up in the age of school shootings. I think it sends a terrible message to our community that we build a shooting range less than a quarter a mile away from Southview High School. According to a 2019 report, in 46 school weeks, there were 45 school shootings at a rate where that's not even making the news anymore. And to then propose that we build a gun store where the pro side's talking about safety. Where's the safety for the children? 1,300 kids die a year from gun violence, and we're proposing to build this near a school. There's a difference between legality and being ethical, and this is absolutely not an ethical thing to do. And I think it sends the wrong message to society and the wrong message to Sylvania residents to build this at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. Next, we are reaching out to Nina Greenberg.
Hi there, can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Perfect. Good evening, council members. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Nina Greenberg, and I live at 4654 Vicksburg Drive. Southview is my home away from home. Whether it's being a part of the golf team or the theater program or the Leader Academy, Southview's always been my safe space. I spend as much time at Southview as I do in my own home, and I want to feel just as safe at Southview as I do in my own home. The thought of having a shooting range less than a mile from my school makes me feel really, really unsafe. The thought of having a steady stream of people driving back and forth down Sylvania Avenue with guns does not make me feel safe. The thought that one of them might make a turn into the Southview parking lot and inflict an unspeakable tragedy does not leave me feeling safe either. How can we stay focused as students when the drop of a book sounds all too similar to a gunshot, or when the fire alarm goes off? Is someone going to be in the hallway to attack us? I may be here as an individual, but I speak for many Southview students when I say we do not feel safe. With the possibility of a shooting range within walking distance to our school, so many of us are scared. In fact, 1 week ago today was the anniversary of the Sandy Hook shooting, where 20 first graders were shot and killed. The family of those victims and the community itself will forever be changed and linked with that day of deadly violence. Can you imagine if something like that were to happen here in Sylvania? Can you imagine how it would feel if that shooting was linked to a gun range that the city council approved to be 0.6 miles away from the school? So I ask you please to deny this request to rezone. Move the guns away from my school, the library, the nursing home. Please do all you can to keep us safe and feeling safe. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Nina. I would share with you that we have someone in the audience at the council chambers who could not access via online. So I'm going to pause for a moment. We will come back to the others and allow the person in council chambers to present. Chuck, if you can help us make that happen.
Look right there.
Hello,
Wait till she's ready. Chuck, are we ready? Okay, go ahead.
I'm Sister Patricia Gardner, and my address is 4147 Lancelot, and I'm in the township. I'm against this business because of just the thought of having guns around. I noticed when I went on the website that the targets that they were shooting on were torsos of people. So to me, what are we saying to people that we're practicing to shoot a torso of a person that had the hands placed on the body and it anything, but to me it looked like that doesn't make it target with a bullseye. But to have people, I don't see how that's a family fun thing to do. I don't see how guns are going to help our community. It may bring in money, but do we need to have money built on guns that can kill another person? And I agree with everything that's been said before against this. So thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, sister. With that, I'm going to invite Stefan Chirika to speak.
Hello. Can you hear and see me?
We can. Thank you, Stefan. Please share your address and then your comments.
Good evening. My name is Stefan Sharika. I live at 2748 Squirrel Bend in the township. I am a sophomore at Southview High School. We like to say location, location, location when it comes to any business, but we need to talk about where exactly the shooting range would be. The fact of the matter is that this shooting range would be in the center of civilization. The location is right next to a large cluster of businesses, such as CVS, Kroger, and Kingston. Perhaps most concerning, though, is that this shooting range is within 3 miles of 3/4 of Sylvania City schools. Southview, Northview, Timberstone, Central Trail, McCord, Sylvan, Maplewood, Highland, and Stranahan. 9 Sylvania schools out of 12 are within 3 miles of this proposed shooting range. The closest of Sylvania's schools to this proposed shooting range would be the school I attend, though, Southview High School. I don't want to drive to school every day in fear that someone using the shooting range recreationally stops at Southview on their way home, gun in hand, ready to commit unfathomable atrocities similar to Parkland, Columbine, and Sandy Hook. The best way for something to not happen is the request to rezone, so my peers and I will continue to feel safe at school every day. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next I'll be looking for Kimberly Dennis Mize.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kimberly Dennis Mize. I live at 4340 Cranberry Lane, which is in the Oak Creek subdivision directly behind the proposed location. I just want to start by saying when a community grows under the guidance of a forward-thinking, cohesive plan, its residents benefit in many ways. A stable population, optimum property values, and a strong sense of community. And that is a quote from the City of Sylvania's Planning Commission website. Our family spent months house hunting. We wanted to live in the Sylvan Lakes and Oak Creek neighborhood because of the community planning. Our kids can play outdoors, easily walk to shops, a credit union, a beautiful public library, public parks, trails, and a high school. As residents within this King Sylvania Brent corridor, where homes can exceed $1 million in value, we each pay thousands of dollars in property taxes, and we're willing to pay them to families. But Sylvania Schools recently asked voters to approve a levy to increase school security for more police, more controlled entrances, and surveillance cameras. The optics here are just blinding. It's unconscionable to promote a business that sells guns and ammunition within a 10-minute walk of Southview, as others have said. But there's no denying that a market exists for a shooting range and trading facility. And Midwest Shooting did a great job presenting, and they appear to be a reputable business. But their location is in a more rural area. Schools are nearly 2 miles away, and I-75 is literally in their backyard. So the demographics of the community and the location here are completely different. So I'm asking council to assist Midwest Shooting Center in finding an alternate location that backs directly to a highway or farmland, not into a family's backyard. Respectfully, I would also seek...
Kimberly, just so you'll know, time is up, but if you'd like to finish your sentence, that would be fine, but we need to move on.
I would also like to just see comment from the school board, the public library, and the park system to also publicly state their position on this issue. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your remarks. Next, I will be reaching out to Christina El-Siad.
Good evening. My name is Christina El-Sayed. I live at 7205 Pinecone Lane. My family and I have lived in Sylvania for over 20 years. We moved to Sylvania because of the city's reputation that it is the best place to raise a family. I am neither for or against an indoor shooting range. I am not against gun ownership within the scope of the law. My position on the issue of rezoning the property located at Sylvania and King is that the location, it's going to be next to a mental health facility, a nursing home with extended care, a medical complex, a public library, and a high school, as well as with being within 1 mile radius of family homes. In other local suburbs of Toledo, the indoor shooting ranges are located within warehouse districts, industrial parts of the city, or out by the airport. Why was this property selected not an area out by the quarry? Why was it not selected somewhere off of Silica Drive in the more industrial part of the city? What about the old Comstock Furniture Warehouse off of Monroe Street? Since the tragedy of Sandy Hook Elementary, our students haven't felt safe at school. Public shootings flood the news seemingly every other month, and our children have had to witness events of other school shootings on the news. Learning about them and how to prepare, fearing the possibility that they might find themselves in a similar situation. Our teachers still don't feel safe from gun violence at school. Even with all of the precautions we take, they are forced to participate in lockdown drills, barricading doors, and planning exit strategies, having heavy objects, projectiles in their classrooms to defend themselves, and planning out what they would do if someone entered their school with a firearm. In 2019, our district carried out an active shooter drill. How to escape if an active shooter got on to their or approached their building, how to reunite students with their parents, and where the children would go if they had to flee their school campus. I'm not saying that having a shooting range within walking distance of the places our children frequent would increase the likelihood of someone attacking our campuses, but our children's do not need to be reminded of this every day on the way to school. They don't need to be reminded every day that they're potentially could be the victim of a school shooting.
Thank you, Christina, for your remarks. Appreciate them. Next, we have Marcia Dries. And I'm having a hard time pulling her up. I believe here. Marcia, I can't seem to get you to unmute. I'll move on to the next person and try again.
Can I be heard?
Yes, you're there. Yay.
Hello. Thank you. My name is Marcia Dries, and I live at 4213 Stratford Court, which is in the Sylvan Lakes subdivision. Thank you, City Council and members of the administration, for your service to our community. I believe the location for this proposed project is wrong. Namely, those of us that are speaking out against it tonight happen to be living in the Sylvan Lakes division. I noticed those that spoke in favor of it do not live in this division. I wonder if they would feel differently if it were happening in their neighborhood. At any rate, all that aside, we are here because we wanted to live here, raise our children here, and have a safe and secure place to do so. We also are a multicultural neighborhood, and some of our residents are refugees from war-torn nations that find this to be a tranquil place to have lived in the United States. So I just really think this is the wrong placement. I'm also a mental health provider, and I know that during the pandemic, suicide rates are on the rise, and men in particular are at risk of using firearms to complete suicide. And I just think for a number of reasons, this just would not be good for our children and good for our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry to ask this question, but did you provide your address at the start of your comments?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. Okay, next I have Lalit.
Hi, my name is Lalit Santani. The address is 3746 Wheatlands Road, Sylvania, Ohio, 43560. I live right next to Southview. And so much of the talk has been about Southview and schools, etc. I want to bring a couple of other additional things to it. One is I'm a member of the Hindu temple, which as a community place, it's a place of worship and is again within that 1 mile zone. It is right next to the police station of Sylvania on King Road. Apart from that, for example, the cigarettes, we don't sell them to children or don't display them out where children can see them exactly the same way. Why should we have big guns shown to children and display them out? Right? One more thing. Children only learn by familiarity. Here we are giving them a chance to get familiar to guns, which has its positive, like the four guys said, but it has a bigger negative. All the shootings that happen, that are accidents, are only children. And if we have a gun range, what we are doing is basically getting them the chance to get familiar with guns, which means chances of accidents happening. And finally, there are lots of places in Sylvania on the outskirts of the city. This can be located somewhere far where children don't frequent it all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Linda Mowat.
Hi.
Hi there. You know, somehow you're muted. Let's try again. Try now.
Okay. My name is Linda Mowat. My address is 7558 Wind River Drive, Sylvania, Ohio. I live in Parkland, Sylvan Hills, which is outside of off of King Road. So I'm within a mile of this new facility. I'm a registered nurse. My husband's a medical oncologist in town. So I'm going to say it on the aspect of healthcare and safety for the our community. One of the concerns I have is emissions. No matter what you do, no matter how many filters you have, you're going to be filtering out that air into our atmosphere, into the waterways, into 10 Mile Creek. You know, how do they clean the floors? What happens if there's a issue when they have a fire there? Do we have to have more equipment for our fire department, which costs taxpayers more money? The other thing is the other aspect. Do we need more police department because our department may be used more? So do we have to like staff that on King Road a lot more, which will cost homeowners more money? They've done studies before and on having gun shooting ranges and gun shops, and they found a higher incidence for pregnant women and children having issues, neurological diseases, increase in learning disabilities, increased brain cancer, increased lung cancer. There's no regulatory agency that monitors our environment. So let's say they start emitting lead into our water. Who stops this? Who's monitoring? Is anybody going to be monitoring changing the filters? There you go. Oh, they say that they have this at Lima and then potentially into Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne and Lima, I wouldn't want to be compared to them. They have high unemployment, a lot of drugs. They're lower income than Sylvania is. So I wouldn't buy something. Okay, healthcare. Other thing, he says they don't sell guns to criminals. Well, they can sell guns to people with psychiatric issues. I had a friend that was admitted into a psychiatric ward. She walked over to the gun shop, bought a gun with her ID, and she committed suicide. If she wasn't able to walk there, she might have not have. So the whole checking, you know, more drinking, more drugs, more suicide, they don't check for that. They'll just check to see if you're a criminal. And let's face it, all those kids have really good IDs. They can get anything. So big box companies do not care about our community. And this is all projection. There you go.
Thank you.
I have a lot more.
Thank you, Linda, for your comments. Now I'm moving to Debbie Schwartz.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay,
you're on and we can hear you.
Okay. 6604 Brent Road, Sylvania.
Thank you.
I want to thank everybody who's spoken against this. I agree with everybody, specifically the high school students. I think what you have to say is very valid. And as a grandmother with a grandson growing up in Sylvania, I share your fear. I also think about the location and the message it sends about that guns are okay. And this is a great meeting place, as people were saying. I personally would not want my grandson, part of a group or of 18, 19-year-olds who go hang out at a shooting range and a gun shop in Sylvania. Okay, and I agree with everything that people have said about the location not being good. I also have concerns about the out of Sylvania people that a facility like this might attract. I think that the petitioner said people would come from a 50-mile radius. So I would be concerned, what about militia people who might want to meet there and recruit people there in our Sylvania community? What about gang members from Toledo coming and hanging out there? I don't think that it's going to be that they're not going to let people in. They're going to want people to come to the facility. Do we want people hanging out on Sylvania and King Road who have come there to practice their shooting? I don't. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Debbie. And now we have Imran Ali.
Yeah, hi, thanks. My name is Imran Ali. I'm a neurologist by training. I work at University of Toledo. I've lived in Toledo for 25 years. My address is 4350 Cranberry Lane, Sylvania, Ohio. And I want to say a few things. I think it was mentioned that there's 10% of people have carrying license, 90% of people don't, and those are the majority. These type of, as other people have said, there are huge issues of environmental pollution. There's noise pollution. The sites that they showed us were in commercial districts. This is about 100 yards behind houses on Sylvan Lake. This is absolutely the wrong thing to do. As far as money is concerned, there is a value that ranges move in. All the houses lose its value, and Sylvania Township will also lose money because a lot of us will leave this community if this continues. There's also a relationship with crime. Gun shops do increase the level of crime in this locality, and I'm not sure why even Sylvania Township is considering this idea of having this and changing the zoning laws, which, as somebody had correctly said, they're meant for a specific reason. And all the people who supported it do not live in the neighborhood that is going to be directly affected. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I have got, I'm not sure if his intention was to speak, but I will put him up to clarify. Nadim Khan, and actually I'm not seeing it come up here. I'm not seeing his name.
I think you hit the wrong one. You hit mine again. So if you want to try his again.
You know what? His name isn't coming up. So so I will move on. I think there was one other person that I noted had come in of trying to unmute. Okay, so there, that helps. Thank you. I have to, Dr. Khan looped in and gave me his correct information, so I can now unmute him.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Nadim Khan here, 4260 Cranberry Lane, Sylvania, Ohio. I'm in the neighborhood in Oak Creek, directly behind the proposed site. I'm going to keep this short and simple. Gun violence is more prevalent here in the U.S. than any other developed nation. The potential effects would be catastrophic if the store were robbed or if a store patron used his or her purchase to launch an attack of convenience on the neighborhood schools, the temple, the churches, the library, the nursing homes, the pharmacy, the grocery stores, the medical clinics around or even our neighborhood. So I'm vehemently against the proposed gun range and store. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I will share with you that we are at 7:30. I did see one other fellow on this that wanted to speak, and I would ask that if he's got, I can't quite pull it up. Is that Raj Langani? Was that who was interested in speaking? And this would be our last person to speak. Raj, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me, Mary?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Wonderful. David Sabo seems to be a nice guy. I have nothing against guns in general, except they are a business. They are a for-profit business. I'm also a business owner. Nothing wrong against that either. The problem is this is a business for them to make a buck. That's the motivation they have. And all the examples in the slides, like others have spoken, were locations that were not behind, backing up to backyards of neighborhoods, which I noticed very quickly in the slide that he presented. There was at least 6 houses I could count with backyards backing up against this property. So for all the reasons already stated, real poor choice of location for us. Great choice of location if I was the business owner, because I get a building on a cheap and I don't have to start from scratch. So you got to look at it from that point. It is up to us, our community, to look out for ourselves. It is not their job, the business owner, to look out for the community. So we're up to on our own to look at this. So I'm amazed that the city council even brought it to this extent. Number one. Number two, somebody said something about a big box. This is not a big box company. This is a small company, startup company apparently, that is taking advantage of the general trend. A big box store like Dick's Sporting Goods has stopped selling guns. This is creating a business opportunity. The problem is wrong location for all the reasons that we've already talked about. I think all the other reasons are valid reasons. So thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you so much. With that, I would share with you that I believe we've heard from most of the people, all that I can see that had expressed interest in speaking out against. I would also share with you that we would like to provide some opportunity for city council members to speak. So if any council members would like to speak, have any comments, they certainly can do that. And I can do another look at the chat to see if I've missed anyone. Would any council members have any interest in speaking? Okay, not hearing anything. I have one person in here that says she's had her name in here since the beginning, so I certainly don't want to not include her. I hope that based on her request, she's got something new to share, and I will invite her in, but I can't see her any longer. Margaret Kohler, I'm opening up for you at this time. If you'd like to speak.
Hi, and first I'd like to say that other people are putting their names in who said that they had their name in to speak. I think everybody should be allowed to speak who wants to tonight. I heard about this Thursday night from my daughter's friend. I was astonished, and I couldn't believe that I almost didn't know about this. I don't think that it's been as widely publicized as the city council thinks. I live at 5167 Old Ridge Road in Woodstream Farms, which is just down the street. I go to this shopping area all the time. I go to the library, and I would like to say that I'm a lifelong resident of Sylvania. I grew up here, and we purposely moved back here with my 2 kids because we thought it was a lovely, safe place to live. And I'm concerned about my property values at this point. I'm very much against this. I'm really interested how they feel that this is a family-friendly place for people to go. I'm a teacher at a school near, just on the edge of Sylvania, just maybe 2 miles from this place. And I have to do ALICE training every year about how to decide in the case of an active shooter, whether I am going to decide whether to evacuate the school building or take the kids into lockdown, or tell my kids to get a stapler and throw a stapler at somebody who has got a gun entering my classroom. I'd like the family-friendly people to see what it looks like when a loud noise happens in the hallway and when the kids go silent and a pin could drop because they think maybe there's an active shooter, and these are little kids. These are little kids. And as a teacher, as a Sylvania homeowner, I just think that it's terrible, terrible location to put a gunshot and shooting range right by Southview High School. If I were a teacher at Southview High School, I don't know how I would go to work every day thinking about this. All we do is think about how to protect the kids in our classrooms against all these people who have guns and end up shooting people in schools. Like, you know, it's just happening every day. So I don't think that putting this in the center of Sylvania. Also, as a person who goes to services at the synagogue, I'd like to say what a pleasure it is every year to go to services and have the police standing outside just in case a shooter would come and want to shoot us while we're in the synagogue at services. And that's the kind of society, unfortunately, that we live in. But I don't think we need to bring this into Sylvania, into the heart of our city, our shopping area, our residential area, the library, and less than a mile, half a mile walking distance from a school. It does not make sense to me, and I would be very disappointed in Sylvania City Council if they approved this zoning change. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Kohler, thank you for your comments as well. And as I shared at the start, as I moved to invite council members to speak, that I was checking the chat box to see if others were on. We are not trying to cut anybody out of their comments, so please be clear about that. We have asked that if people have new comments, that please feel free to make them. And there are a few more people who have requested time, so we will allow for that. Bill Rossiter, I'm unmuting you at this time.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I am a business owner as well as a resident. I've actually come back to Sylvania 3 different times, leaving in corporate America, and always came back to Sylvania because of the vision and the progress that's been made. I am a gun owner. I am a hunter, as you can see on my wall. And I have shot before, and I go to Cleland's, and Cleland's is a perfect example of a great location. It's odd when 4 months ago, we were sitting here, for those of you that were on the planning committee, and you were talking about your 3 to 5 year vision, and what that vision was really had nothing incorporated in a gun shop. And if you recall that meeting, there was numerous people, the vast majority of the people couldn't fathom why we had the gun shop on Monroe, about 200 yards from Northview, and now we're proposing 200 yards, which, by the way, is 2 high school football fields long. The location is the issue. It's not about the Second Amendment, which I'm a very big supporter of. It's not about legality. It's not about business viability. They sound like they have a good business. But we have a choice. The council members have a choice. It's about desirability and location. And I will end with saying that, it doesn't belong here. It sounds like a great business. I would go to this business if it was outside the community. I would not go to it if it was inside the community. I would still go to Cleland's. And I would say that I'm shocked about it was unanimous of the council members. I'm really shocked about that, especially when I sat there and heard your 3 to 5 year vision, what Sylvania is going to be. And then I'll also end with the fact that it's been vacant. Why is it so hard to fill? I would say that none of you have come to us as small business owners and ask us for any help. And lastly, it's going to allow for 30 people. Well, Anderson's had 96 people. So if you're looking for tax dollars, there's a lot of other viable businesses that will drive the tax dollars if that indeed is what the council members are most focused on.
Thank you very much for your comments. I will share with you also, Mr. Rossiter, that City Council has not voted on that. That's what this public hearing is for, is to get public input so that we can be informed and make sure we consider all viewpoints before we move forward. The Municipal Planning Commission did approve it to come forward to council for consideration, just as a point of clarification. All right, we have 2 more people at this point. Virginia Thompson. But I'm not seeing her name come up here. Try that again. She maybe is on an iPad and I can't see her. I will move on to the next person and hopefully we can find her. Dr. Raymond. I am not seeing his name come up either. So perhaps he also is on an iPad. And then finally, Rachel Ain. And I see Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel Ain. We live at 7664 Hickory Grove, Sylvania. That's the Sylvan Lakes neighborhood, right behind the proposed location. Me and my husband learned about this through Facebook. We didn't get any emails or anything like that. We're the parents of 2 young children, Abby and Noah. Abby is 3, Noah is 9 months old, the same age as the pandemic. So we spent months trying to find a home to raise our children in. We are Jewish and we wanted to live in a Jewish neighborhood, or not necessarily a Jewish neighborhood, but near kosher places. We could get food there, and near the temples, and our daughter goes to a Jewish preschool. And our concern is this is so close to these Jewish neighborhoods, and there's an increased anti-Semitism all over the place right now. Another concern that we have is our property value. We moved into this neighborhood because we thought that it's a safe neighborhood, and we thought that our property value would increase over time as an investment, and we're not sure if bringing a establishment like this would decrease our property value. The other issues that we have is that so the issue for us is not necessarily that it's a gun issue. We're okay with a gun range. It's the proximity to our neighborhood. And I think a lot of people in the Sylvan Lakes area agreed on this topic. I'm not sure of anything else to add that hasn't already been mentioned.
Thank you.
And so I'll just
thank you for your comments. Very helpful. Next, I would like to try and get back to Dr. Raymond, I believe it is. Here we go. Let's see if this does the trick. Dr. Raymond, are you there? I can see you, and it won't unmute.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you, yes.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. We have heard a lot of things here. And the most striking thing is we are talking about revenue. You want to bring a business that creates fear, creates unrest, creates horror in the minds and the hearts of the people, whether they are children. You heard from kids under 18 years of age. You heard from grandparents. You heard from people, families like me. I live in 7644 Old Sycamore Lawn, right behind this proposed facility. We are close to a clinic. I'm a physician. Our job is to save lives. By bringing these here, they call it a meeting place. I'm sorry, people who have spoken in favor, most of the people don't live in this area. They have no idea. This is not the meeting place that people in Sylvania want. Yes, Lima and Fort Wayne, you had mentioned about that. Maybe the people want that type of meeting place there. We don't pay the kind of taxes people pay in Lima or other places. We moved to this area almost 20 years ago to raise a family. What is going to happen with this? The cost of the houses, the property is going to go down. Families with children will not move here. Sylvania was a great suburb. This was the place where people would like to move. Why? It's a different debate. Close to a worship place, close to a library, close to a grocery store. The deaths that happen by gun violence, 20% of the deaths are accidental violence. People walking with guns, moving in and out of that facility, accidents will happen. It's a matter of time. And the message, again, what is the message we are sending to the school, to the children who will be driving from there? As one of the young person, he mentioned that there are 5 or 6 schools within few miles radius of this area. If anything, we should discourage it. I'm overwhelmingly against this proposal, and I hope that our board also decides against it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Raymond. Let me share just as a point of clarification as well that all of the guest speakers today, both in favor of and against, have been from Sylvania. No one has spoken from outside of this area, so I want to be sure we're all clear that there has been no one except for Sylvania residents due to the very high interest in this issue. With that, I'm going to try one more time to open up for Mrs. Thompson, and then we will conclude the meeting. See if we can get her on. Are you there?
Hi, I'm Virginia Thompson. Hi.
Hi.
I go by Jenny. So I live at 4236 Stratford Court, and I live in the Sylvan Lake subdivision, which is located right behind the proposed area. I'm most concerned about the kids. I know we've talked about the kids. My kids live in this neighborhood. And my daughter, she's gone through the active shooter drills. I'm an educator. I've taken kids through active shooter drills. I see the anxiety. It's real. And my daughter said to me the other day, I don't feel safe. That's what she said. She said, I don't feel safe. My daughter, who I want to be able to ride her bike, walk around the neighborhood and feel safe with her friends. And there's kids that do this in their neighborhood. And my daughter's coming to me and saying, I don't feel safe. Well, that makes me want to run from this neighborhood. That's what we most value is our kids. And we're putting tax dollars, tax revenue above our kids. What message are we sending to our families? Not a very good one. Not a very good one. We have to think of our children and their safety and their feelings about feeling safe. Even though we can say, oh, they are safe, if they don't feel it, then it's not okay. It's not. And that's my main thing that I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. I will share with the group here that we appreciate very much your time, your energy, and your commitment. I did open up earlier to council members. No one has expressed interest in speaking due to really wanting to make sure that we hear from all of our constituents. You all are important members of this community, and we always work hard to find that delicate balance. It's not easy. We're faced controversial issues every single day with council members. We are grateful for your support and your passion for our community. There is nothing more than we want other than a high quality community for our citizens. So we appreciate your input. We will not have any action tonight. Council members will take time to pause and consider the comments we've heard. I want you to know that our clerk of council did forward to us literally all emails from everyone for and against. And again, we had many people speak against tonight, but we had just as many people speak, sending us emails for. So it's a very high-powered issue that's got lots of room for discussion. I definitely want to say thank you to every member on this call who managed your comments with high professionalism. It makes me very proud to be part of this community when I have the opportunity to observe passionate community members who speak very kindly and professionally in this situation. Thank you for your time. This concludes this public hearing.